Good morning, everyone. Today I'm on my morning walk with my little dog. She's a little Shiba Inu. And today I'm going to talk about what it's like to be a widow. It's different. You've lost that person who was your support, the person who went places with you. And then now I find that I go places either on my own, which I'm getting used to, or I go with my son, granddaughter, or friends. Gatherings are hard, especially where there's gatherings of spouses all together. You know, the one that you shared the little laugh with, you could finish each other's sentences, that kind of thing. So lots of changes happen, and right now it's 2.5 years my husband has been gone, and people say, oh, you'll feel him with you, and I believe that is true to some extent. Oh, sorry about that. Almost dropped my phone again. It's windy, and guess what? Sure, I do remember, Mike. I should just stick it in my pocket. Then I will never forget it. The first 2 years, I did a bit of traveling on my own. I went down to my sister's, drove myself down and back, and you know what? Bless her heart. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. And I'm very thankful that she invited me down and all that kind of good stuff. But I missed my husband. Again, the person who would share that little laugh. Sorry about the camera moving. I have a dog attached to my arm. So that was difficult. And to be totally honest, I enjoyed the time with my sister, but I did not enjoy going on my own. I didn't enjoy it. So those kind of things are difficult, and I don't sugarcoat it. It's difficult. I usually go on a very short vacation with my granddaughter once a year. Like, we do a weekend trip. And that's fun, because we, known her since she was born. Held her hours after she was born, not even an hour. And so we know each other's ways, and I think maybe that's it. That's what I'm missing, is we knew each other's likes and dislikes. We never really liked to stay with other people, and I found I was staying with my sister. And I need that downtime where I can decompress. And decompressing is just taking that sigh, sitting, drinking that cup of tea, and reflecting throughout the day. And I'm an artist. I love to go out and draw. And my husband and I had this kind of arrangement. I'm also a photographer. I love to take pictures. I never called myself these until one day somebody told me, you're an artist. It's okay, I'm an artist. And he would come with me, and he would sit for, about, the longest he'd sit for would be an hour. And when he was ready to go, he would honk the horn. And that meant it was time to go. if I wanted to catch a picture of a duck flying in the air, he would honk the horn and he'd say, before he honked the horn, he'd say, "Are you ready? Because now's the moment." And so that's when I would get that shot I was always looking for. So we had all those little things, and I celebrate those little things. It's the small things, it's not the huge things. It's the small things I miss the most. And he wasn't one to go out anywhere. Didn't enjoy it, but he did. He did, and he went out for me. And he would much rather be at home watching the television. That was one of his favorite things to do. And he was also the one who did all the driving. And I said to him one day, I said, I said, "You're sick." And I said, and I drive around town really good. In fact, in town we had an agreement. He never drove. Because, I had to take care of some business there. So I said to him, "I'm fully capable of driving." And I said, "We know deep down that we don't have a lot of time left. So I said, you have to let me drive. Because soon I will have to." He got to the point where he couldn't walk. And towards the end, he could barely see. And I was looking at a video one day, and the lady that was in the video was talking about her husband who was ill, and being his caregiver, and basically looking after everything. And being a caregiver is a lonely place. Everybody is focused on the person who's ill. And that's good, because they do need that focus. But if you do have someone who is a caregiver, ask to give them a break. Is there anything that you need to do? Give them the support. It can be as simple as a phone call. And trust me, if people were phoning and I was really busy with taking care of business, it even got to the point where I had to help my husband shower and dry off, and there was so much. And he was a very proud man. And he wouldn't have wanted anybody else to do that for him. Although he said once to me, he said, in the hospital, they had to give me a shower. I won't explain why. And I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "How did that go?" And he said, "They're way nicer than you are." And I laughed, because there were 2 or 3 of them. At home there was me, and he couldn't stand long. And he couldn't get into the bathtub very easily. So we had about an hour max before his strength would give out. So I was always like, let's get this done. We have a time limit here. And I laughed and I said to him, I said, "Well, there were 2 or 3 of them." And he kind of chuckled and he said they laughed as well. So even though I have lost my best friend, really, he was my best friend. And just recently I went to, it's Healing Hearts for Women. And it's for women whose husbands have passed away. And I realized that the emotions I'm feeling right now and what I went through is actually not uncommon. When my husband was sick, he looked up and he says, "Don't you love me anymore?" I said, "I love you to the bottom of my heart. What I don't love is this disease." And I said, "And that's not you. That's the disease." And we were very open, and he was one that he always said to me, "Sure, you can't bury your head in the sand, you know. So you got to face reality." So when my son passed away, the day after he passed away, or second day after, we were holding my son's service, and then we had something after, and I said to my husband, I said, "I can't go downtown. I'm going to see people I know. What am I going to say?" And he said, "Well, you know, it's now or never, and it's going to get harder and harder." So he went with me, and we went and picked up the meat trays and the vegetable trays and the fruit trays, you name it, we did it. It was hard. But he was there. But when I lost my husband, I no longer had his support. And that was another hard thing, is who do I turn to? My son and granddaughter needed this support. I did a lot of praying, and I said, "You know, God, today is not a good day. I need your help." And as I meditated on it, and I'm not one to stay in that space long, I felt a relief. And I did post a video about prayer in the brain, and the doctors, neurosurgeons who were talking about it. And so I do believe in prayer. I do believe in God. That is who I am. No apologies. And yeah. So today's one of those days. We would have been married. We got married in 1974. And it was a week after I graduated from high school. I was 19. And so we would have been married almost 74, 52 years? Yeah, 52 years. Knew each other for about 54 years. So that was that constant person. And even though we had lots of warning, we had lots of time to get our stuff together. And I often think, do you ever get our stuff together? I don't think so. We think we're prepared. We're not ready for the tsunamis. That's when I cry. I cry in the shower because, you know what? Shower wipes those tears away. I'm a private crier. I'm not one who will cry in public. If I do, you know, I'm really, whatever. So, on the upside, I'm learning how to do things on my own, how to travel on my own. I only travel during the day. I will never travel at night. If I gas up, I don't go to a sketchy gas station. I go to a gas station where I see lots of people gassing up. And as a senior, that's really, really important. So I want to encourage all of you who have lost your significant other or your husband to hang in there. Reach out for help when you need it. There is help out there. Like I said, I recently went to Healing Hearts for Women. It's just starting up. A good friend of mine lost her husband, and she's a young widow. And we have all sorts. We have seniors like myself. We have widows from all steps of life, from professional to the person who worked at home. I call it working at home because when you're looking after a family, that's a job. So I want to wish you all farewell. Those of you who are listening to this video, I hope will gain encouragement And I'll keep sharing as time goes on. And help you get to know who my Ken was. He was a light. People were drawn to him. Oh, I've got to go. I could go on for hours. Anyhow, I'm going to let you go, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.